Imagine that Alex, your manager, has just called you in his office. He wants to assign multiple teams to you, the Scrum Master. He thinks the Scrum Masters do nothing but run few meetings, and that too, most of the days they are busy in the mornings only. At least that's what he thinks. And so he wants to assign few more teams to you, the Scrum Master, so he can keep you busy. After all, he's interested and focused on resource utilization. Is that the right focus? If not, you want to educate him on all things Scrum Masters do and how busy they are. So, the question is, what does a Scrum Master do anyways? If you look at the Scrum Master's calendar, what would we find? What does he or she does on a daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or on a quarterly basis? As we know, as a Scrum Master, you are wearing many hats. You are Yoda, the subject matter expert for the team. You are the terminator, terminating all the impediments as they come along. You are also the facilitator, often facilitating all these Scrum related activities, events, ceremonies. You are the coach and mentor for the team, for the individuals within the team as well as collectively as a group. You are the cheerleader, often working towards keeping the energy high, keeping everyone motivated, even in the face of adversities and disappointments. You are the mouthpiece for the team, often communicating the status, progress that the team is making to the outside world so that you can have the team continue to focus on work at hand. All this work can be split into three buckets. The first bucket is the work related to the team, the Scrum Master working with the team. The second bucket is the work related to the product owner. You are working with the product owner also. And third bucket is the organization related activities. As Scrum Master, we are also charged with the responsibility to increase the awareness and adoption of Agile within the organization. In other words, if you look at all this work is distributed into three different types of work: communication, collaboration, and facilitation. So let's look at the Scrum Master's calendar. And to start with, let's look at the activities that the Scrum Master is doing on a daily basis. So first and foremost, obviously, is to facilitate and attend the daily Scrum. The next, as part of the daily Scrum, the Scrum Master should be providing updates on the impediments. As we know, the team members are going to bring the impediments to the daily Scrum. As and when they run into some roadblocks, they will report them as the impediments. Then the Scrum Master takes the ownership of those impediments and works with others in the organization to clear and resolve those impediments. So the Scrum Master should provide updates on the impediments as to what is the progress he or she has made. Right? We want to see some movements on those impediments. So that would be the second activity that the Scrum Master should be doing on a regular basis. The third, I would say, is updating the charts. Based on the updates from the daily Scrum, based on that sync up, the Scrum Master would be updating those charts. So the Scrum Master is updating these charts and making it visible. Post them on the Scrum board. Post them on your dashboard if you are using some electronics tool. If you are using some wall, then go and post updates to that wall. Whatever you have to do, do it, but make it visible. I also say that the Scrum Master has to be a Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, as in look for unidentified impediments and work towards removing them, even before they have a chance to distract the team. Look for those patterns and anti-patterns and work towards clearing those impediments even before they occur. Of course, this is not the complete list. I'm just reviewing few of those daily activities with you on this session. All right, let's look at the activities that should happen at least once every week. So the first one that comes to mind is, as a Scrum Master, you want to reach out to the product owner to ensure that she has identified the priorities. She has lined up some stories that would go into the next refinement session, and ensure that she is prepared to answer any questions that the team may have during the refinement session. The second one, obviously, is to ensure that the backlog refinement actually happens. To ensure that the team participates in the backlog refinement with the product owner, and they come out with the ready stories from these backlog refinement sessions. Ready stories that meet the definition of ready criteria that would have been created by the team earlier. The next activity would be to take care of the dependencies. During the backlog refinement, if the team identified any dependencies, reach out to the product owner and scrum master of other teams to ensure that those dependencies are captured in their backlog. Next important activity would be the sprint health. You want to continuously monitor the sprint health. Are we going fast enough? Are we going to be able to complete all the stories that have been committed to this sprint? If not, what can we do to correct the course? All right, so far we looked at the daily and weekly activities. Now let's look at what I call sprintly activities, the activities that happens once every sprint. So first and foremost is, as a Scrum Master, you want to ensure that the team has enough ready stories. If the team does not have enough ready stories, then you want to get the team and the product owner in some additional backlog refinement sessions. Second, obviously, at the sprint level, we want to be facilitating the sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective. The other activity would be to collect all the data points, collect all the metrics to show the progress that we are making. So, metrics such as velocity, say-do ratio should be captured at the sprint level at the end of every sprint. Another major activity should be to report the progress that we have made through the sprint to all the stakeholders. So communicate the sprint as well as the release progress to the stakeholders. Communicate the communicate the impediments to the stakeholders as well as part of that communication. And of course, update all your charts. So update your release burn up chart, update your feature burn up chart, work with the product owner in updating the feature burn up chart, and also identifying what are the features at risk of not being delivered based on the current velocity, based on the scope of the project as we know as of today. So these are some of the activities that should happen at the sprint level. All right, so far we looked at the daily, weekly, and sprintly activities. Now, question is, are there any activities that we should be doing quarterly as the Scrum Master? So one of the activities that you would be involved in is to participate in the release activities. If the product owner decided to push the product increment to the customer, to the production. If that is the case, you, the Scrum Master, should participate in the release activities and represent your team to the release activities. Another activity would be to work with the product owner and update the roadmap. help the product owner in keeping the roadmap up to date. You also want to participate in the next release planning if your company, your organization is doing that quarterly release planning. Want a more detailed list of activities that a Scrum Master does? Get a copy of my checklist. Link in the description below. And don't forget to smash that like button if you got some value from this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so I can continue to deliver more value to you on weekly basis. Until next video, keep changing the world, one team at a time.